Hey, this is Torin Talks, and today I'm going to be talking about Spider-Gwen #1. Spider-Gwen is the alternate story of Gwen Stacy, which first appears in Edge of Spider-Verse #2. And in this timeline, Earth 65, Gwen Stacy is bitten by the radioactive spider instead of Peter Parker, and she becomes Spider-Woman. And she gets all the powers and abilities of Spider-Woman, just like Peter when he was Spider-Man. Peter Parker's fate, ultimately, because he's being bullied in school and stuff like that, he tries some experiment and go awry, and he ends up becoming the Lizard of that reality instead of Dr. Connors. He ends up doing a battle with Spider-Woman, and she ends up killing him, and everyone blames her for Peter Parker's death. So all the cops think that Spider-Woman is a menace and that she needs to be off the streets. And this is all due to a smear campaign from Jameson. And so the cops, including her father, are all looking for her. And eventually she has to tell her father that she is Spider-Woman after a standoff. And she tells him that she has to keep the mantle of Spider-Woman, not only for Peter Parker's memory, but to face all the monsters and bad guys out there. She eventually leaves and goes handle some other things in the Spider-Verse, like teaming up with the other Spider Totems to defeat the Inheritors. And then she also goes to Earth 21205, and in that reality, Gwen Stacy dies again, and Peter Parker as Spider-Man is too overcome with grief, and he retires as Spider-Man, becomes evil, and becomes a hobgoblin in that reality, and is ultimately killed there too. So she gets pissed off with that, okay, this sucks, I'm out of here. And she goes back home after handling all that other stuff. Gwen Stacy is also in a band with Mary Jane Watson called the Mary Janes, and she plays the drums. She's back, and she's trying to repair her image, her public image, with the citizens of New York City who are pissed because Peter died. And so that's pretty much the background leading up to Spider-Gwen #1. It starts off with her coming back into town, and she's thinking about, everyone's looking for me and wondering where she is. And she just got back from all these different worlds, and she's talking about, in Spider-Pig and his world, they love him, and everyone hates me here. Why? And so she just isn't getting any love from any citizens around these parts. And she's going all this in her head while she's beating up this random criminal called the Bodega Bandit who just knocked over some store down the road. And she's, worried that she's gonna not live up to the mantle of being a Spider-Woman. Across town, there's a new villain on the scene, and he's terrorizing some cop, takes him high in the air and just drops him. And the police are taking it hard because one of their own who got attacked, and Captain Stacy's worried about his daughter, and all the other cops are saying, oh yeah, Spider-Woman's a menace, and he's like, no, she saved my life, it's cool. He knows who she is, and he knows that she's good. She's one of the good guys. But he's too close to the situation involved. They don't know that it's Gwen, but the police don't want him involved regardless, or the mayor doesn't, actually. So the mayor says, you're off the task force, and gives it over to this new guy who's in jail beating the crap out of some thug, who tells him that Kingpin is the one who ordered the hit on Captain Stacy. She ends up checking in on her old bandmates, and they're sucking without her, and, Mary Jane, egoholic, is out of control, and so everyone's telling Mary Jane, look, you need to, get your act together and swallow your pride and go get Gwen, because we suck. You suck without her. Through cop investigation, they find out that the Vulture is the villain who's running around, terrorizing people. And he used to work for Oscorp, and his name is Adam Toombs. So she goes into his place, doesn't find anything. So she finds a way to get his attention. And she goes on all these buildings and starts damaging his ego, just writing all this stuff about him. And he shows up. They get into a confrontation. They battle it out. And he takes her away in the air. She's hanging on with the spider web. And then he cuts the web with his talons. And the last page is her seemingly falling back to her doom. I really like this title. I love the art. It is very stylized. Artist Robbie Rodriguez and colorist Rico Renzi give Spider-Woman a beautiful, beautiful look. I love the costume, the white, the pink, and the black, although that would just be a bitch to wear because white always gets dirty. Like, you wear it 5 minutes, it's like, that would just be a nightmare for me anyway. The pink and purple tones used throughout the comic are my favorite parts. This panel in particular is my favorite. I really like the language and how the characters talk, especially Gwen when she's inside her head and those little thoughts. And I love the references that she makes to things like Breaking Bad, and she just wants to hurry up and finish all this so she can go eat corn dogs. I think that is really make it fresh and interesting. And she's always on her phone. She was using her phone to listen to like her band. She was using her phone like to ignore her dad's calls. So I really like the fact that it felt modern and fresh and young. And she's an underdog, but she's not pitiful, which I really like. And I'm always interested to see strong female characters and have them feel really authentic. And I think that's why a lot of people responded the way they did to Spider-Gwen. And I am super excited to see where this comic book goes from here. So yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, even leave me a comment. Did you like Spider-Gwen? I want to know. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest.